and welcome back to a brand new episode of The Degree of Footy, where we are back for our third episode. Today we're going to be talking about Liam Rosenior getting sacked from Hull. We're going to be talking about David Moyes deciding to leave West Ham, and we're also going to talk about Manchester United, plus much more. But I'm joined by my co-host. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thanks, Harvey. Another interesting week in football this week. Obviously more stuff happening off the field, but let's dive into it. Henry, how are you?
Oh, I'm brilliant, boys. I'm happy to be here. Looking to dive into. Right, fine. Well, I'll go then. No, I'm looking forward to diving into the topics of this week, and let's get started.
No, definitely. We've got a lot to digest into, and we're going to start with the Champions League, and that is Dortmund have made their way through to the final of the Champions League. Incredible.
I mean, if any of you guys predicted Dortmund getting to the final of the Champions League this season, then
no,
fair
I said
play to
Atletico would win.
You said Atletico would win?
Yeah.
I mean, but fair play.
Not the whole tournament.
Oh, yeah, but when they played in the quarters, yeah. I mean, fair play to Dortmund getting through a really spirited performance yesterday, 1-0 over both legs. I'm just so glad to see PSG just not win the Champions League again. Football does win sometimes, boys.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good to have Dortmund in the final. It adds a bit of spice to the Champions League. Do I think they'll win it? Probably not, I'll be honest. I think it'll be Real Madrid or Bayern. But, yeah, it would be nice to see a Bayern-Dortmund final.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid, it'll be an easy coast through for Real Madrid. And let's just talk about, though, is it the star man Jadon Sancho at the minute who's really helped them, really? Has he helped them?
I mean, he's obviously helped them a lot, but I don't think since he's come in he's changed so much, if you get what I mean. He's played great in the Champions League, obviously, but I don't think he's the main reason that they've got this far in the Champions League. I think, for me, the reason they've got far in the Champions League is because of Mats Hummels and Schlotterbeck, their centre-backs, because they were unreal yesterday. The last-ditch defending was incredible. And considering Mats Hummels is in the latter stage of his career, fair play to him. But Sancho, he's been good, but not great, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he had a really good performance in the first leg. I think he had the most successful take-ons in X amount of years. He's definitely had a good impact. So it's definitely had a positive impact on the team.
So what's happened to Jadon Sancho at Manchester United to Jadon Sancho now?
Confidence, I think. I think Ten Haag, obviously, we still don't know why he fell out with Ten Haag. That's all been hush-hush, hasn't it? But I think it's just confidence. Going back to the Bundesliga, he knows the club quite well. And you can tell that he's just so much more confident. He's taking players on. It seemed at Manchester United, he'd get the ball and just pass it back instead of taking players on. It seems at Dortmund, Terzic is just giving him the confidence to take people on. It doesn't matter if you lose the ball. Just, you're quick, you're skillful. Just do what you can, really. I think that's the main difference.
Yeah, I think with Manchester United, there's so much pressure. I mean, Gary Neville's spoken about it before. If you're a Manchester United player, you're under some of the most pressure in the world, and you think how much pressure Ten Hag's under at the minute. So, obviously, playing for Manchester United, you're going to have all this attention on you. So I think going back to Dortmund, he's gone back to his roots, and he can play more of his own football.
Does the Premier League, does it show, though, how hard the Premier League actually is? You can't just come from a foreign league, come into the Premier League, and you're going to do amazing. It's really hard to compete, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Premier League is on such a level above all the other leagues, in my opinion, that, you've got teams that anyone can beat anyone in that league. Whereas you look at the Bundesliga, and for years Bayern won. I know Leverkusen have done it differently this year, but I think the intensity is just so much bigger. What do you think, Murray?
No, I agree. The intensity is just a completely different level. And you look at the amount of goals scored and how open the Bundesliga is. As a striker, your stats are almost always going to be inflated. You look in this season, I think Harry Kane's on about 36 Bundesliga goals.
But still in the Premier League.
Still playing for Spurs. While the top scorer in the Premier League this year is Haaland on 25. And I think that shows the differences of how the defending is just so much better in England compared to the Bundesliga, where it's just so open. It's like a basketball game sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not surprising to see 4-3 on the score sheet in the Bundesliga constantly compared to the Premier League.
Don't bring up Harry Kane. We've been absolutely slaughtered by Leicester fans for saying that Harry Kane's had a better career than Vardy.
Well, they should be focusing on getting that points deduction in the Premier League, shouldn't they?
That's a dig, isn't it? That's not getting clipped up.
No.
We'll be killed. So let's talk about then Liam Rosenior. Do you think it's an odd sacking from Hull?
Yeah, 100%. He got nominated for Manager of the Season. When have we ever seen a manager get nominated for Manager of the Season and then get sacked? I mean, it's strange. I really understand it. What do you think, Mara?
Yeah, it's very strange. And I saw some stat in the last 5 years, the highest Hull have finished has been 19th in the Championship, and he's got them to 7th. And on the final day, they could have qualified for the playoffs. I mean, something in my opinion has to have gone wrong in the background there, because I'm not sure what you think of it, but it just came out of nowhere as well.
I completely disagree with both of you. I think Hull City had a vision. They want to get playoffs, and they want to achieve the playoffs. The team that Hull City have had, Fabio Carvalho, quality for the Premier League, can play for
quality from the Premier League.
No, he could play in the Premier League quite comfortably.
I'm not sure about that.
You've got Tyler Morton, Liam Delap. You've got loads of... He plays for Hull, Liam Delap, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You've got loads of quality in Hull and a lot of lone players, and I think Hull City wanted the playoffs and he didn't get it. And I think with that squad, they're better than Norwich. They're a better team than Norwich are. And Norwich are making the playoffs. Yeah, I think you have to. I understand the sacking.
Don't get me wrong, the individuals in the team are great, but none of them are Premier League quality, I'll be honest. I mean, you're talking about Tyler Morton, Liam Delap. They've never played in the Premier League. Like, Fabio Carvalho was a flop in the Premier League, let's be honest. He was great in the Championship.
Well, he didn't have the chance.
Well, he did come up. I mean, he wasn't impressive, though, was he? Let's be honest. I mean, you two will know better as a Liverpool fan.
I think he's a youngster. I think you look at a lot of players, even like Kobe Mainoo, for example, who's been brilliant, but recently he's sloped off a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that the opposite effect, really, for Carvalho, where he's having the effect Mainoo's having now, which isn't very effective. But I think in time he could definitely... Liverpool were adamant. They had many chances to sell him, and Liverpool were adamant they were not selling him. So I think there's a real talent in that player.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But back to the sacking. I mean, Henry, do you not think this is going to divide the whole City fan base?
Yeah, 100%. And we've seen with Birmingham this season, when you've got a manager in John Eustace who was with playoffs with Birmingham, and now they've relegated. I think surely you would have learned from that you've got a successful manager, and their loss will be someone else's game, and he'll go and manage another club, and I expect he'll do well. I just don't understand that success for Hull City coming 7th with a decent squad. Yeah, maybe they didn't have the quality to go up, but nearly getting playoffs with Hull City for a team that's been in a relegation battle last few years is progress. Why would you sack on progress?
Yeah, but you have to remember as well, Hull City are loan players, a lot of loan players. Next season, they don't have them players, and I highly doubt that they'll be able to sign them next season because they're top quality players. So, Hull City next season are going to really struggle because the owners have said, here, we're going to give you back in, we're going to give you players. He's been given the players, and he hasn't got them up. And I think not just not got them up in the automatics, he's not even got them in the playoffs. And for me, I think that shows that next season they're going to really struggle. I think he's a great manager. Don't think that I don't think he's a good manager, and what he's achieved at Hull is a great achievement for him, and I think he'll have no problem finding a next club, but he didn't get them in the playoffs, so I think Hull have made the right decision.
Wow. I'm surprised, but I really think it's a bad decision by Hull.
Look, I might get absolutely killed for saying that, but honestly I think he's done a brilliant job, but I do think he's deserved to get rid of.
The thing is, I've seen the names being linked with the Hull job, and it's just a host of other Championship and League One managers. I just don't see where that succession
you do have to look
from.
at that. What other candidates can take over?
Yeah, but surely if you're sacking a manager who's proven his worth in the Championship, why get another Championship manager? Surely you should be aiming a bit higher.
If they had another manager lined up that's a step up, you can sort of understand it. But if you've got a manager that's just a level par, because if you're sacking a manager when you come 7th, your highest finishing years, you've got to step up with the manager. You can't be on par. There's no progress there.
Yeah, mate, it's all right though. Nick Ruben-Sellers from Reading.
Nah, he stays. He stays at the mighty Royals.
Jesus Christ. Right, let's talk about a debate that's gone on for all season. Saliba or Van Dijk? And I'm not talking all time, I'm talking this season.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, why not?
I think you should.
Saliba is clear. Clear. You just have to look at the clean sheets that Arsenal have got compared to Liverpool. I know that's a team effort, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like Saliba is a Rolls Royce at the back. No one really gets past him, and I think Van Dijk's had his rash moments this season. I know I've probably just caused a bit of controversy there with two Liverpool fans.
For me, it's Van Dijk all day long. I understand Saliba, he's young, and I know the level that Saliba's at now, Van Dijk wasn't at his age, but I think Van Dijk, you watch some strikers will avoid Van Dijk and will pick off Joel Matip, Kwanzaa, Gomez, Konate, whoever his other centre-back partnership is, to avoid Van Dijk. I think that shows how good Van Dijk is, and he's back to his best. I think you watch pundits talk about it all the time. So for me, it's Van Dijk. I'm going to have to disagree with you, Murray.
Do you know what? I have to agree with Murray, you know.
I'm disappointed.
Oh, that is.
Do you know what? I said to you lads before the podcast, I said I think Van Dijk, but I've just had a little think, and I actually do think Saliba's been the better player. I think, don't get me wrong, Van Dijk went through an awful injury and he's come back from it and he's done really well.
He's done very well.
He's been Liverpool's best player this season, I've got no doubt about that. Between Salah, but I think Van Dijk's been more consistent. But there has been a lot of errors from Van Dijk, and he hasn't had perhaps the Gabriel next to him. He's had Kanate and he's had Kwanzaa, and I do think he uses confidence. But for me, Saliba's just been incredible. He very rarely makes a mistake.
He's so quick. Like when he's like in a bad position, like poor positioning, he's so quick. He just makes the recovery, makes it look so easy.
Yeah, definitely.
I also think on the ball he's a lot better than Van Dijk. I think defensively, I think it's pretty even matchup. Maybe Van Dijk just takes it.
Van Dijk 1-on-1. Van Dijk is obviously the best defender in the world.
I think obviously overall and including on the ball capabilities, I think Saliba is clear.
Distribution wise though as well, I think
Van Dijk's
he's
very
incredible.
Good. That switch to Salah is
that from the left side to the right flank is brilliant.
Yeah,
but and that's what Van Dijk has that Saliba doesn't. But and I think defensively, I would take Van Dijk. If you ask me defensively, do you want Van Dijk or Saliba? I'd take Van Dijk.
But we're talking about defenders, so surely you take Van Dijk overall then.
Yeah, but I just think that he's done more than defend Saliba. For me, he's scored goals when you need him to. He's been strong. He's been composed. He's not made mistakes. Whereas Van Dijk, sometimes you see him. What you doing there, Van Dijk?
He's just a bit rash, isn't he, Van Dijk? Sometimes. And I also think one thing that annoys me about Van Dijk. Whenever Liverpool concede a goal, I'm not sure if you guys
have
noticed.
It's never his fault.
It's never his fault. He's always blaming someone else straight away.
Yeah.
And that does get on my nerves as a fan. I'm not sure if you guys agree.
I think with Liverpool, we concede a lot more goals, and I know Arsenal have the clean sheets, but Saliba and Gabriel have always been that's the Arsenal centre-back partnership. That doesn't change. Whereas Liverpool, we've seen multiple times, Joel Matip was in, Gomez has been in, Kanate has been in, Kwanzaa's been in recently, so he's not had a consistent centre-back partner. And a lot of Liverpool's goals that they concede come from the right, because you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's often somewhere in the middle. There's a big gap, and then you've got that other centre-back who isn't Van Dijk sort of defending that channel. So a lot of the goals do come down Liverpool's right. And I do understand the point of, Liverpool concede more, Arsenal more solidified. But a lot of it, I feel, isn't Van Dijk's fault, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I think that he does get a lot. He's got a lot of, like, if there's a mistake, it's Van Dijk who's the... And I think as a captain, he should sort of step up to the plate and take that. But yeah, I think, for me, it'd really help if he had a really strong defensive partner next to him. And when Kanate was on form, I think Van Dijk and him really worked. But especially now, mate, towards the latter part of this season, when we needed Liverpool to hold on to results, he's just... take against Crystal Palace, I thought he was woeful.
Yeah. No, well, I understand. It's a very good point, and they're two. You've got an upcoming centre back and a very experienced one, so it's a really good debate to have, and we'll only see over the next few seasons what happens.
But for me, it's no argument. They've both been the two best centre backs in the Premier League.
Yes. I mean, even Diaz has sort of not been on it as much as he has last couple of seasons.
No, because Akanji and Ake have actually got a lot of game time as well for City. Yeah.
So and Pep's benched him a few times. So I think. Yeah, I saw somebody put Diaz in his team in the season. I thought, what?
Yeah, no. I'd have Gabriel as the third for me.
Yes, Gabriel's been incredible, hasn't he? But yeah, obviously I want Van Dijk. Van Dijk signed a contract, stay at Liverpool. We want him, we love him. But, and like you say, he's still one of the best. So I still probably think he's the best centre-half in the world.
I believe so as well.
Even though I think Saliba's been better, I do think he is one of the best centre-halves.
No, they're both like two of the best centre halves in the world. I'm not sure who is the best. Put me on the spot there a little bit, but I couldn't say who's the best right now. I think that's a bit difficult.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, really.
Yeah.
I think over time.
We definitely need to sign a centre half, but we won't go into that anyway.
No.
Well, let's talk about briefly, because we have talked about it already. Ipswich are going up to the Premier League. What are our thoughts on that? Ed Sheeran has got them up.
Ed Sheeran's got them up. This is all down to Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran, if you're watching this, fair play, lad. No, I mean, Kieran McKenna, back-to-back promotions. That is unreal. What a job.
That is really impressive.
And the thing is, as well, I look at their starting 11, and this is when actually you could say about Hull. Hull's team individually is so much better than Ipswich.
Yeah.
But Ipswich, I don't know. Once you just start winning loads of games, it's just like it's almost the mentality is more important than the actual quality on the pitch sometimes.
I remember when it was it was this season when Derby County played. I was in the press box watching Derby County versus Ipswich.
I was at that game with my dad.
Oh, were you?
He came to pick me up and he was like, "Do you want to go to the game?" We're not
Brilliant.
Derby or Ipswich fans.
Yeah. Well, I remember watching Ipswich there, and it was brilliant. I never just so clear what was happening, with his tactics. You could see his tactics being implemented on the pitch.
Yeah.
It was a really good game, and they won 2-0.
Yeah.
And it was a really good game to watch.
They just seemed like 2 steps ahead of Derby and everything. They were
Yeah.
so quick, physical. They were unreal and just controlled the game completely.
Yeah.
And to then step that up in the Championship, which is a great division. There are so many good teams there. It's just, fair play.
Yeah, the Championship this season was one of the strongest it's ever been because you had Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton all came down, who are magnificent sides. And then you add in Ipswich, who've just been this incredible force in the Championship, which I don't think anyone expected them to be in the Premier League this season. And I think it's great for the league because if we had Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton come back up, who've just come down, and it's looking like Burnley, Luton, and Sheffield United have come down, we'd have the same Premier League we had 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So have a different team, someone else to talk about. And my dad's an Ipswich fan. I know he's watching this, so he'll love the fact when we're talking about it.
Yeah.
As a family thing, it's brilliant to have them back.
Hello, Henry's dad.
He's a big fan of you.
Yeah.
So.
Didn't he say he wants whatever I'm on?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not on drugs or anything, I promise.
Yeah.
Mate, come on, don't have me like that. I'm joking.
No,
I'm
I'm
not.
joking.
I'm not. Clarify that. No, I think it is incredible that they've gone back to back. But I saw somebody put on Twitter, I'm glad my team didn't go up to the Prem because the Championship's more entertaining.
I don't get that. I think surely you want your team to succeed as much as possible.
Yeah, surely you do want your team to just be at the
Yeah.
heights of football. I don't know. I mean, I understand that the Championship. I agree with the statement the Championship is more entertaining than the Premier League. I'm not sure if you guys do, but where would I prefer my team to be? The Premier League, playing against the best teams in the world.
It's difficult because when you're watching Burnley versus Man City, whilst you're watching a big team versus, no offence, quite a small team.
Yeah.
It's a bit bit boring. But if you're watching, I don't know, Leeds versus Sheffield Wednesday, it's more exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, any team can win at all points in the Championship.
Yeah.
No. For me, as I think I find the Premier League more exciting. I understand the excitement for the Championship, and I think having been in Derby and going to these lower league games, we'll say, you sort of experience EFL more, and being around EFL fans, you understand why it is exciting. And I completely agree. And I think the Championship this season, the standard's been incredible. So I completely understand your point. But for me, I think the Premier League is just an incredible thing to watch.
I think it was 5 years ago. I think it is still. It's still. Don't get me wrong. I still love watching it, but I do think. I don't think the Championship's more entertaining. I just think in general the Premier League's just getting more boring.
Yeah.
No, boring's a bit harsh. Just a bit more flat.
Repetitive. Almost.
Yeah. We need that. You remember, when the Aguero moment. I mean, just that was you'll never ever get a moment
Leicester,
like that again.
that won't happen again.
Leicester, what were their odds? 5,000 to 1 or something.
Yeah.
You'll never get anything like that again, and it doesn't feel like there's gonna be. You're getting the normal top 6 every year, and it's just the same old. And I don't know. You need that. I love how close it is this season, but I do think City will coast through it.
Yeah. Well, I think Ipswich will win the Premier League next year. 3 for 3.
We'll come back to this in a year's time.
If Leicester was 5,000 to 1, that's going to be 10,000 to 1.
But the thing is with Ipswich as well, I saw some statistics. They had their 8th highest spend in the Championship, so they didn't even spend that much money.
Yeah.
And then the market value of their team is 16th in the Championship, and they finished second. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's just the job Kieran McKenna's done. He's such a good manager.
Yeah.
And I think if Ipswich hadn't gone up, the Premier League clubs would have been looking at him.
Yeah.
Do you think they go back down?
I think it's too early to call.
You
need to see how they recruit.
You need to see who they sign. They're looking at signing John Lundstrom, who played for Sheffield United and Rangers. But you never know. They might sign Kiefer Moore on a permanent. They might go for Amari Hutchinson again on loan.
They need to go Amari Hutchinson.
Yeah, he's been brilliant.
Second half of the season, he's been their best player by a country mile.
My favourite player, not for any reason of his quality, but is Wes Burns.
I like Wes Burns. That's a good
I signed him on career mode, and he was absolute pace. It's so fast. So
his Trivella goal earlier in the season was beautiful.
I think he scored against Derby when I was there.
Really?
I think Connor Chaplin scored.
Yeah, Chaplin did.
And then it might have been.
I think it was. I could be wrong on that one, but
yeah.
We'll see how they do. I think they'll stay up. But recruitment aside, I think they will.
We'll have to wait and see. It will be interesting.
Definitely. Well, let's talk about. I've been waiting for this all week. Manchester United losing. What was it? Not 1, not 2. Wasn't 4-0, wasn't it?
4-0.
Shut up. Was it Elise's tip? Incredible.
God.
No, seriously, what's going on with Manchester United?
Who knows? Honestly,
That's an honest summary, and
honestly,
I like it.
what that squad has got talent in abundance. Why are they losing? No Manchester United team
does it?
Talent in abundance.
No way.
Do you not think?
What the hell?
No way.
Well, they've got Rashford, Kobe Mainoo, Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund. Okay, fair enough.
Mate, it wasn't just talent aside; it was talent in abundance.
Yeah, I know.
Well, either way, and I go. Carragher said this. Manchester United should not be losing 4-0 to Crystal Palace. No disrespect to Crystal Palace, but Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, should not be going to Crystal Palace and getting absolutely played off the park.
No, I agree with you. They shouldn't
be.
It's Manchester United, and that game aside, and the whole season they've been absolutely shocking. I think Ten Hag has to go. I do think he's as a man. I don't think he deals with things well. When I hear him speaking on the press, I just find him really annoying. I've talked about my frustration about him before.
I agree with you. I'm just going to say it. Ten Hag at the end of the season, he needs to be sacked. He needs to be sacked. They've lost to. I mean, they've lost like to Arsenal convincingly. They've got thrashed by City. Lost to Chelsea in that game. I mean, have they lost to like every club in the Premier League this season?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
But they are still high in the Premier League. Not for them, but they are still.
They'll be lucky to get Europe now.
Oh yeah.
Because Chelsea have slowly caught
them up. They might
them
miss
up.
out the Conference League.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, I'm with you. I'm Ten Hag out, and I saw a post on Sky Sports today, and it's comparing Manchester United to their worst ever season.
Right.
So their worst ever season on fewest points was 58.
Yep.
They're currently on 54, 3 games left. They've conceded 55 goals. Their most they conceded was 57. It's their joint most defeats in a Premier League season, and they've scored 3 more goals than the fewest they've ever scored, and that's their worst ever season in the Premier League. That is awful.
But I mean,
I'm with you. Ten Hag should go.
It's just shocking. And I look at their best players this season: Kobe Mainoo, a youngster from the academy; Garnacho, a youngster, and then Bruno, who was obviously. I'll be honest, he's a world-class player.
Yeah.
He's their only world-class player.
Yeah.
And then probably Harry Maguire. I mean, it's not good at all.
No, it isn't looking good. And I think, even Højlund hasn't really clicked into form. He's been on and off. I think Anthony, he's not achieved much. You got Eriksen, looks like he's lost. It looks like he's gone on a stroll and doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, don't even mention Casemiro. That performance against Crystal Palace,
Oh,
absolutely shocking.
We talked about him playing in Sunday League in the double pivot, and
he will be seeing
He could even do that job. We could all do it better. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I'm not sure I could, but
no, you could.
Oh, thank you. Back in my prime, maybe. Yeah. But Casemiro was shocking. But I think it's quite harsh to say he's rubbish. I know he said he's playing in double pivot, but I think he can. He's obviously confidence is low. He could still go to a good club and do a good job, but I think obviously he's just very low in confidence.
I think he needs to go.
I think he needs to
go. Yeah, he needs to go. I think he needs to go, but I do think he's very low in confidence. I think even Dallow's been okay for Manchester United, don't get me wrong. I think he could be good. I think that team could, with a bit more signings, which I'm sure Sir Jim Ratcliffe will do, I think Man United could. They will get back to where they were before. This narrative won't run forever, but it's great watching it.
It is great. They just need to get their transfer policy right.
Yeah.
I just look at their squad building over the years. Your central midfielders: Casemiro, Kobe Mainoo, Eriksen, McTominay. I feel like I'm missing someone obvious.
Bruno?
No, he's more of a cam, isn't he? But I mean, it's just not good. I don't know. And I look at the centre backs as well. Maguire, Varane has been awful since he joined.
Oh yeah.
Constantly injured as well. And you know it's bad when you sign a defender who says I don't like to header the ball. And then Lindelof as well. Johnny Evans.
There's a lot of dead.
Johnny Evans.
Did you see that Elise? Literally just like not just the Casemiro one. He just past Johnny Evans. He absolutely. I think it was Elise or one of the players. Just Johnny Evans stuck his foot out. He just went past him with ease. I mean,
there's so much dead wood at the club. Don't get me wrong, there's some potential there with the youngsters, but there's a lot of dead wood in the summer they've got to get rid of.
Everything needs to change, from the managers to the background staff to the the whole club atmosphere doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like there feels like there's something corrupt going on within the club. I don't know if that's the right way of putting it. I'm not accusing them of
I know what you're saying.
But it feels like something isn't going right in the background. You've got the Glazers who are they're still lingering in the background, but then you've got Sir Jim doing his own thing. It just feels very odd to me. It doesn't feel right.
There's such a shadow of the club they used to be. You know, you've got Sir Alex, Cantona, the class of '92, to where they are now. It's such a false identity of how big that club is.
100%.
And do you know the good thing? It's going to take a while to rebuild. So the next couple of seasons, hopefully, we're just
enjoy the ride.
Strap in, get your popcorn.
Yeah, definitely. Although I don't know why you have to strap in to get your popcorn. But we're going to talk about who they faced on Monday, and that's Crystal Palace. Adam Wharton. Let's just talk about him for a minute. This season, right? Are we calling him up for the Euros?
No, I don't think so. He's a very good player. I didn't quite expect him to have the impact that he's had since he's joined Crystal Palace. Coming from Blackburn, who were fighting relegation in the Championship, he slotted into the midfield really nicely alongside whoever he's played, really. And he's a proper old-school box-to-box midfielder. But I don't think he gets called up to the Euros. There are better players in the England team than him.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's potential for him, and I think one day we will see him in that England squad. But I think if he was going to get called up, he would have got called up in the friendlies. I can't see many players who weren't in that friendly squad being called up to the squad now. I think there will be a bit of time. What do you think, Harvey?
For me, he doesn't get called up, but for what he's doing at Blackburn, what he did at Blackburn, and what he's doing at Crystal Palace now. I spoke to Harry Leonard, who plays for Blackburn, and when he used to play for him, it was just incredible. Like just the learning from him, the standard that he has, and I think he's come to the Premier League and he's done such a good job for Crystal Palace. I think he'll get his big summer move at one point. Probably not.
It's too soon this season. I think.
Soon.
He needs another season.
Another season to prove himself.
But I think I know this might be a bit of a shout, but I think he's very similar quality to Gallagher.
Yeah, I get what you mean, actually. Box to box, very like a runner in the midfield. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think for that young of an age, you've got to really be, you've got to be on it, and he just breeds composure.
The thing is, as well, with England, though, there aren't many top quality central midfielders. I think you've got Declan Rice, Kobbie Mainoo, and Conor Gallagher will definitely be on the plane. But then who else are you looking at in the midfield?
Yeah.
Madison,
he's more of a cam, isn't he?
Exactly. Same with
Jordan.
Will play 10, won't he?
Yeah, Jordan Henderson and Calvin Phillips. Nowhere near. So maybe he could be a surprise.
I'd take Kobbie Mainoo. Did you say him?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I think when we talk about who's nailed on for the England, like you got Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham in the midfield, but it's always a big debate about that other midfielder.
I think it'll be Conor Gallagher because he's a runner. You need a runner next to Declan Rice, I think, to complement him quite nicely.
I wouldn't start Gallagher though.
Who would you start?
I'd probably start Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, and Kobbie Mainoo.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I'd have Trent in the midfield.
Oh my days.
I'm not gonna lie.
Move on.
I'd have Trent.
Yeah, next topic, please.
We'll talk about the England squad.
I know you got your Liverpool kit on, but let's keep Trent out of this.
I don't know what you mean, mate.
And I've got the England shirt on. Come on.
I think they can see that, mate.
No, the badge is just below.
Oh, right. Sorry, my bad. Well, let's just end it then on David Moyes.
Yeah.
Nobody rushed into
I think it's a shock, really. I've watched them play football, and the football isn't great, but David Moyes won West Ham a European trophy. They're pretty high up in the league. I don't understand why they've sacked him. I really don't.
And he got them to a Europa League semi-final.
Yeah.
Europa League, I mean, ultimately they lost to Bayer Leverkusen, but that's no disgrace in the quarters this season. I think it's such a harsh sacking, but I think the West Ham fan base is so divided that I think it's about time almost that they get their wish for a new manager who tries to play more progressive football.
I saw Paul Merson put he said that they're forgetting the most important statistic. He won you a trophy.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I think that really is what David. I actually do think he was right. I think his time is up. There's only so much. The road's come to an end now.
Yeah.
I think I'm glad it didn't end in a sour way. I think Moyes has done an incredible job with West Ham. He really has, and I think he'll still carry on with management. I imagine him being a bit like Neil Warnock and still managing when he's in his 70s.
Yeah.
In fact, I even suggest Neil Warnock would take this job now if he could at West Ham. But obviously they're linked with Julian Lopetegui, and I think he'll do a good job. He did a very good job at Wolves. Didn't have enough time to prove himself, and obviously whatever happened between them happened. But I think it was the right time.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was definitely the right time. But Lopetegui, for me, is a bit of a sideways appointment. I don't think it's one that jumps out at me and I'm like really excited because they're being linked to Ruben Amorim. I mean, that's an exciting appointment, different style of football. Julian Lopetegui, I mean, he's not the most... His Wolves and Sevilla team, they don't play the most expansive football either. So for me, it's actually a bit of a sideways appointment. I'm not sure what you guys think.
I like the appointment, but I agree with you. I think it's a sideways appointment. He's not like... If you're getting rid of David Moyes who won a European trophy, you want someone to come in who's going to guarantee you trophies. And I don't think he will guarantee them that. I
disagree. I think I don't think he's a sideways move at all. I think he's a great manager. I think his tactics will work for West Ham. I think that he's very assertive over his squad, and I think he'll do a very good job at Wolves. I really do. Wolves. He's only in at Wolves at West Ham.
But Lopetegui loves things his way and his way only, and I think that can turn sour in the Premier League quite quickly, like Ten Haag.
Yeah. But I don't think really Amorim. Maybe there's been a problem. I reckon at the point Amorim maybe, but maybe there's been an issue there.
I think Amorim's. He's too good for West Ham, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know why you go Sporting to West Ham, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think he's good enough for West Ham. I don't think he's too good for West Ham.
I think he's too good for West Ham.
I think it's the right move.
Well, he's with Liverpool, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think that was too much.
Do you really think?
Yeah.
I mean, I sort of get it because I think the Premier League is a completely different league. But I just think I like the aspiration that West Ham have, but I do think he's too good for West Ham. But I'm still on the fact that I don't think David Moyes should have been sacked. I still think it's a bad decision.
Why?
And I think he's a good manager.
So you don't think he should have been sacked? You think he should have been sacked?
Not sacked.
Sorry,
I'm glad he left.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you, Harvey. I think it's about time. He's run his course there, and he's done a great job.
Yeah, you know.
I just think the grass isn't always greener. I think.
Get him whipping out his sayings.
Well, I think it's
Go on,
true.
yourself.
Get a bit philosophical here.
The grass isn't always greener.
Yeah.
What the hell?
He's won them a European trophy, and I think that needs to be a bit of respect on. And I think he'll go on to another club.
Yeah, but what's he going to do with them after this season?
I don't know. I don't.
Well, obviously you're not a fortune teller, but
I think he's done well. I think they're ninth in the league.
Yeah,
they're mid-table.
Like that, yeah.
When he came in, they were fighting relegation for his second spell, and I think Moyes he could go somewhere now and pick another team up. So I disagree with the mutual consent of him leaving.
Did you guys see? They obviously lost to Chelsea 5-0 on the weekend. Did you see? A journalist asked him, "This wouldn't have happened last season. Why do you think this happened?" And he just went, "Declan Rice."
Yes, yeah.
Well, he's a huge miss,
true.
isn't he?
He's right, isn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, the fans surely can't be happy with that. Just saying the difference is one player.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah, but it's true.
Yeah, it probably is, but it was just the way he just went, Declan Rice.
Yeah.
He's given up.
Where do you think Moyes could go
He knows he's leaving.
Yeah, he knows he's leaving. He don't care. It's like when you're going to leave your job, so you just don't do a good job.
Where do we think Moyes will go next then? What's next?
Not a clue.
Do you not think? Not one? All right, fine. Fair enough, boys. I think, because I've got one, I think he'll go Everton.
Over Dijk?
Yeah.
No, that's...
I think Everton fans would take Moyes back in a heartbeat.
That's
what?
That is
Do you not think?
outrageous.
There's no links to that whatsoever.
No, but let's say Dijk has a terrible start to the season. We get to October, they're sitting in the relegation zone. Would Everton fans not want David Moyes back in?
Well, that's very circumstantial.
I think I heard somebody saying they want Dijk at United.
I mean, let's not even go there.
Just to get things back to basics, get everything right.
I think David Moyes goes to Nottingham Forest.
just completely wrong.
I'm sorry, that is outrageous. Dodge to United.
Yeah.
Come on.
But not me, I saw it.
No, I think that's your opinion there.
No, absolutely not. No, I don't see him back to Everton, mate. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
So you see him going back to Nottingham Forest, don't you?
Yeah. I see him back in Nottingham.
Well, that a club in that sort of area, I think, that,
Oh right, now you're saying a club in that area.
Well, you know what I mean. Like,
No,
back down.
I have backed down.
He knows he's.
I've been defeated, boys. I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly, well, I think that brings on that comment. I think that brings us to the end of.
On that outrageous shout.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm here every week.
Sometimes, mate, the party needs to end. You know
It
what I
does.
mean? The grass ain't always greener, as you'd say. Well, in today's podcast, we discussed all about Adam Wharton, whether he gets to call up. We talked about Manchester United. Thank God they're losing, and hopefully they can continue this fine form. And we've also talked about Ipswich getting back up to the Premier League, plus much more. Make sure you follow us on all social media. But for now, thank you very much for listening.